Hey guys, Nick Horton here, the Iron Samurai, and this is another episode of Weightlifting Academy. And as you can tell, we are in a UFO right now on our way to a competition, the North Carolina State Championships. We got a damn long car ride, so I figured, what the fuck, let's make some videos, baby. Unfortunately, it's nighttime. So, as you can tell, we have one light, and if we had another one, Tamara would probably crash and we'd die. So, this is the only light you get. You just have to accept it's a little dark. But the last dark video I made, my mom told me that it was, what was it, a compelling looking video or something like that?
Yeah, something.
Something like that. She thought it was cool looking, and she's an artist, so...
visual effect or something.
Yeah, cool visual effect. And so I'm going to go with it and say that was, it was justified by an artist. So therefore, I'm allowed to do it as much as I want. So, in today's video, I'm going to teach you how to build your own center of awesome, and I'll explain to you exactly what that means and why I said it with that voice. Well, I won't explain that part. You know that. It's because I'm weird. But the center of awesome, I will get to in a second. But first, I want to remind you of something you already know, which is this: everybody changes. The problem is that most people change for the worse. So over time, throughout your life, if you are like most people, which I know you're not, but let's just pretend for a second you are, you're going to change for the worse. Over time, you're going to get fatter. You're going to lose muscle. You're going to get a little dumber over time, too, because it's been a while since you were in college, right? I mean, you used to be able to do calculus. I know. There was a time you could actually do that. Now, you can barely add 2 plus 3, right? It took you a second, right? You finally figured it out at 6. No, it's not. And this is just par for the course, right? I mean, if you don't actually try to get better, you will get worse. There's no stagnation. There's no middle ground. You're either getting worse or you're getting better. That goes for bad habits. You're just drilling them in. You got horrible behavior patterns. You got, it's fat growing on your face. And it's just getting bigger all the time, and your muscles in your jaw are getting smaller so you can't eat anymore. It's horrible. This is real life. Most people are consistently getting worse year by year. So who they are 20 years later, in a lot of ways, is worse. Now, here is the weird part. Some parts of them have gotten better. And every once in a while, somebody accidentally gains some level of wisdom in certain areas of their life. And what's cool is that you have the capacity to direct this process consciously and not rely on just random happenstance to get you and make you into a fat, skinny, stupid person 20 or 30 years from now, which is what's going to happen if you're not careful. I'm trying to warn you, man. So here's how it works. And I thought about this because at one point my mom, she said to me, and that's why I brought my mom up in the beginning, she says, Nick, I've always been impressed by your ability to reinvent yourself. And that's, if you know anything about me, that actually, it's kind of accurate if you think about it. What she was getting at was the fact that I went to music school, and I was a musician for a long time, then I switched, I went to school for mathematics, I did that for 7 years, all the way through grad school, 3 years of grad school in mathematics, and then, as you know now, I am a professional weightlifting coach. That's kind of weird, right? I mean, that's 3 things that don't normally go together, kind of crazy. And one way to look at it is like what she said, where you're reinventing yourself. I don't think about it like that. I know what she was getting at, but I want to go ahead and be explicit, because I think the words reinvent yourself are wrong. What's right is what I did, and what I continually try to do, and what I suggest you do, is you go through something akin to a scientific process. That's it. You use the scientific method to slowly over time make yourself a better and better version of yourself. You're doing that right now in the gym, right? Physically, you can do that with everything. And here's basically how it works. And I'm not going to go deep into it because there's another much longer, more ridiculous video called The Wisdom Loop, which is part 1 and part 2. And that's like a cornerstone of like the detailed part about how to do this. You can Google it, just The Wisdom Loop, Nick Horton, and I'm sure you'll find the video. But I want to give you like an overview, kind of the Play-Doh version of what I'm talking about. And this is what every one of the people you look up to does. This is what all of your idols, etc. have been doing. This is what everyone you're trying to model yourself after does. And this is what I figured out and what I learned my grandfather did. I totally modeled a lot of myself over after him. He's a real cool cat. He's was an evangelical preacher, and was a very good one, really good at moving audiences and things like that. And it's not because he just relied on talent, but because he took whatever talent he had and he figured out how to get better and better over time, right? Same things I'm always encouraging you to do. And I'm trying to do it too. I'm nowhere near there yet, but I'm working at it, and I'm going to keep, quote unquote, reinventing myself. And by that I mean building my center of awesome by going through a very scientific process that can be summed up in a totally non-scientific way that is reminiscent of Play-Doh. And here's how it goes. Over time in life, you are accumulating bits of Play-Doh of all kinds of different colors. Just all the time. Like, it's on a table, and you got like a little bit when you're like 10. It's not that much, right? And then like a bunch of shit just keeps getting thrown on top. Sometimes Play-Doh like mates with other Play-Doh, and it like grows into a bigger Play-Doh, right? One way or another, this collection of Play-Doh on the table is growing. If you do nothing about it, and you don't make any of this process conscious, you're going to accumulate a lot of random Play-Doh on this table. Some of it is going to be great. It's going to be really cool looking Play-Doh, and it's going to have, the ability to put itself in good shapes. Others are going to be dried out hunks of shitty ass Play-Doh. That's crappy Play-Doh. You don't want that, but you're accumulating it, and it's increasing itself. It is like a cancer growing. And this is what like bad habits are, right? Bad habits are like a self-perpetuating collection of dried up crappy Play-Doh. You can't do anything with that. All it does is drag it down. All it does is take up space on that table that is not allowing for the good Play-Doh to grow, and is in fact completely not useful. You can't turn it into snakes or into like a cool looking crane or anything else that's awesome that you can do with Play-Doh. Not possible. You can't make a nose. I used to really like making noses out of Play-Doh. I don't know why. It's kind of weird. But they had a gonzo thing. I do have a gonzo thing. It's right here on my face. And so the goal then is to take those hunks of shitty ass Play-Doh and throw them the fuck off the table. Make room then for the rest. And here's how it works. You look at that table and you say, all right, I'm going to clean up. Let's look at the stuff that's not working for me. Let's look at the stuff that actually isn't working. And let's look at the stuff that is. That stuff that is not working, it's got to go. The stuff that is working, it's going to stay, and I'm going to grow upon it. And I'm going to go ahead and just bundle all the good stuff up into a big ball, stick it in the center of the table, and let that be the new center. This is all the stuff that I know is working well. Not that bullshit crappy Play-Doh. The stuff that's working well, I'm going to stick it in the middle of the table, big old ball, and I'm going to let it be the new center of all the new Play-Doh that's coming in and the stuff that's growing. Over time, you're going to accumulate some more crappy Play-Doh. Thankfully, this time you got a much bigger ball of awesome. And you do the process again. You look at that and you go, all right, accumulated more bullshit Play-Doh, got to get rid of that. You knock off the dried up hunks. You take all the good Play-Doh, you bundle it back into a ball, stick it in the center of the table. This time you got an even bigger ball. And it keeps growing like that. You do this again and again and again, and you never stop. How do you think Gandalf got to be how he is? That is how he did it. He kept building his center of awesome. Every time dried up hunks of stupid ass Play-Doh got in the way, aka bad habits, stupid behavior patterns, ways of thinking, maybe like physical imbalances that you've created in the gym, and injuries and other things that you never really took care of, inflexibility you're just refusing to deal with because goddamn it, I hate stretching, all that kind of stuff, that's got to go. You need to instead keep building on the positive things that are actually working for you and double down on them. Double down on the stuff that's working well. That's cramming those good pieces of Play-Doh into the middle of the table, building up that big ball of awesome, and throwing out the big, nasty, dirty, crunchy, unpliable, dried up hunks of bullshit Play-Doh. Get rid of that stuff. And what you're going to be left with over time is an absolutely gargantuanly cool center of awesome Play-Doh. Alright, that's under 10 minutes. I totally succeeded. That's my goal. I was like, I can get this under 10 minutes, and now I'm going to keep talking. I'm going to ruin it. But
Okay, can I just say something?
Yeah, I fucked it up.
Well, when you said Play-Doh,
Yeah.
I honestly thought that you were going to talk about Play-Doh.
Oh, Play-Doh!
Like
Play-Doh! Yes. Oh, man, that would have been so philosophical.
You started talking about actual Play-Doh. And I was like, fuck, I was so wrong. So anyway, yeah. I mean, it is you, so I figured like you're about to be a philosopher.
True.
You were.
True. But then again, it's me, so I'm very likely to talk about Play-Doh. Yeah, that's true. right, so that's another episode of Weightlifting Academy. Make sure you go to weightliftingacademy.com and get your own Center of Awesome a-growing. All right, ladies.